Well, all eyes will be on Finance Minister Gigaba as he presents his maiden mini-budget speech today. Not only is this his first budgetary statement, but is also under not-so-ideal conditions. The minister is faced with a slowing economy and high unemployment, combined with the private sector's reluctance to plough back money into the economy. The medium-term budget policy statement is deemed as an opportunity for the finance minister to make adjustments to the main budget delivered earlier this year. Analysts believe that this is Gigaba's opportunity to not only regain investors' confidence, but also propose radical measures to achieve the government's stated transformation agenda. Now here's a look at Minister Gigaba's main challenges: revenue shortfall, fragile economy, problematic SOEs, and to somehow find the funding for free higher education. And here's a look at the main challenges that the South African economy is currently facing. Firstly, there is a low FDI inflow, slow GDP growth in recent years, high cost of borrowing due to downgrades, sluggish growth in infrastructure, manufacturing and mining sectors, a lack of diversification preventing job creation and entrepreneurial opportunities, the reluctance of public investment corporations and IDCs to play a transformative role, and finally, the private sector's reluctance to plough back money into the South African economy. Now, the issue of problematic state-owned enterprises and how Minister Gigaba will deal with them will be top of mind in this budget. The cash-strapped South African Airways is likely to loom large in Gigaba's mini-budget. Eskom and Petro SA are the other two state-owned entities that will perhaps get special attention. Well, joining us now in studio is agricultural economist Christo Ubar. So thank you for joining us in studio and making time to just come and discuss this midterm budget speech that will be happening today. Now, first of all, what do you think from the agricultural side we can expect to come out in this midterm budget speech?
Good day, Stefanie, and thank you for the opportunity to be with you in studio. If you're looking from the agricultural side, then we have seen in the second quarter that the agricultural growth of 33%. So I think, and also with the mining sector, we saw that we actually got out of our technical recession. So I think agriculture can help a little bit, although the agricultural is very small in terms of the total GDP. And we currently sitting with a very huge crop of maize, which need to be exported at a certain stage. So I think that there can be a little bit innovation on what can be expected. On the other side, if we're looking at the Minister of Finance, challenges that he currently have, especially with certain state-owned entities, and then also with the probably a 40 billion to a 50 billion deficit on our budget that we can expect for the year, then yes, I'm not sure if there's any rabbit that can be pulled out of the hat at this stage.
Well, let's take a look at the agricultural sector as well in terms of worrying areas that has so far been in this half year that we've seen. So what are some of those worrying areas that pop out quite?
Well, in the past we saw that agriculture contribute a lot to the food inflation side. Currently food inflation is under control, and we maybe can expect that will decrease further for the rest of the year. So from the consumer side, then there's probably some good news, especially on the food inflation. Okay, food inflation only forms a little part of the total inflation on the one side. And yes, if you're looking further into what we can expect from the system, then I think we need a stable political climate. We're 2 months away from the ANC's initiatives and what will happen there. And I think that will determine a lot what will happen, especially in terms of economic growth for the future. And I hope we get all those things right.
Definitely. Now, also, do you think that Minister Gigaba will give due attention to the agricultural side of things, seeing that he has these SOEs that are so troublesome to pay attention to?
I personally think that he probably will focus on the political side and more try and get a stable position, and then also on our problematic state-owned entities that cost a lot of money. At this stage, we're not sure how much money the Airways or South African Airways will need it, and it seems like up to 10 billion in total for the year. and that's quite a lot, and put quite a lot of pressure on the total system. And then if we're looking especially on Eskom, I think we need proper governance in the total system to get a lot of trouble out of the way, and a lot of trust into the system.
Well, also now taking a look at the way that it will differ, maybe Minister Gigaba's budget, perhaps from Pravin Gordhan's budget. This is his first one, so a lot of pressure on him. And as well as we've said, the SOEs is putting a lot of pressure on him as well to perform well. And the political climate in the country, it's not as stable as we would like to see it. So what do you think we can expect to be different in his budget speech?
I think we must give him a chance. I think it will be very unfair to make a lot of judgments prehand. And yes, we know he's not so experienced as our previous Minister of Finance, but I think we need to give him a chance. And I'm a believer, and looking onto the positive side, and maybe there's some good news that probably will come out today.
And some of the worrying factors as well, we see it's the employment rate in the country, which is very low. It is a worrying factor for South Africa. Now, taking a look at the agricultural side of things and them being an employer of a lot of people, how do you think Minister Gigaba can actually put into the agricultural sector so that they can get more work opportunities for people that do not have jobs at the moment?
First of all, the agricultural sector is dependent on a lot of other sectors. If you're looking at the infrastructure, we need to work on that. There's a lot of transformation issues. If we can export a lot into Africa, but that's more a medium to longer term issue. And then also get, as I previously said, get trust in our total system. We need a lot of economic growth, and with that, the employment will increase, and then it will be a better South Africa for all of us.
Now, just before we close, he did also say, or we did mention, that the public entities actually coming back, or actually ploughing back into, or the private sector ploughing back, into the economy. It's a big worrying sector. How do you think that this will influence the agricultural sector if we take a look at the midterm budget speech?
If there's enough trust in our total political system, then we'll see every private entity in the agricultural sector and also in other sectors that will come and invest further in the economy.
Well, thank you so much for joining us in studio and giving us your time today, just discussing Malusi Gigaba's midterm budget speech that is, of course, happening today. It is his first midterm budget speech that we can expect from the Finance Minister. And that was joining us in studio was agricultural economist Christo Ubar.